The Kardashians are back. The season premiere dropped on Hulu last night, and we are here to talk about it. So, welcome back to our channel. Before we get into the latest Kardashian tea, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with all of the latest celebrity and pop culture news. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, joined by Gianna Gravelisi and Allison Van Dam. And guys, our favorite sisters are back. The long-awaited premiere of The Kardashians is finally here. We all watched the episode, so I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. But, I mean, what were your overall impressions of the first episode? How do you think the season is going to do?
Honestly, we were talking about this before the live, but I never watched the Kardashians, the original show, Keeping Up with the
Crazy.
Kardashians, religiously before, which I'm like, what was I doing? But I did watch a lot of the episodes and I was watching all of the reruns on E! News, of course, leading up to this day. And I can already say, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I already like the new show just a little bit better. I don't know if it's because there's already so much drama going on in their lives during this show, or if it's just because the format changed. I don't know what it is, but I really do like this new show on Hulu much better.
I mean, Zach, I texted you like 3 seconds into watching the episode. I was like, this intro, honey. Like, we got the drone footage. And we've said it before when we were kind of predicting this season. It's a more, introspective look into them, into their businesses. It feels like we are just seeing more like raw and real Kardashians as opposed to more staged conversations or like, okay, here we're filming. This is more so the cameras seeing them in day to day life. And I think Kim even touched on that of, no, I'm just focused on being a mom and law school right now. And I like cleaning out my playroom. Like we're seeing like a less presented side, a less maybe glamorous side to them. But I think in that way, it's even more interesting than what we saw on E!
Yeah, I like how they just talk directly to the camera. Like when Courtney came in and she's like, here's the deal. And then Kendall was like, you'll get me for the whole season. It was just like the way they were talking to the camera. It was just like, it felt like a FaceTime. Like it just felt like this new docu-series type of format of the show is just so much more authentic than the stage conversations you guys were talking about, where the sisters are just like fighting over like whose cookies or whose Christmas lights are better, which we love to see as well. But I just live for like the confessional moments when they're like in their interviews and it's just like they're talking like we're just right there and it's like on the spot. So, I mean, it's safe to say we're all really excited about the new version of the Kardashians. So, we're going to get into the top moments of the premiere and we have some hot takes here. So, let's start with Kim's alleged sex tape. So, a pop up of Kim's crying face showed up on Saint's iPad as he was playing a game, and there was someone threatening to release unseen footage of Kim's sex tape that never aired from 20 years ago with Ray J. And Kim's PTSD started to take over, and she was so worried about her reputation and what could happen because now she is a business owner and a mom. She has so much more to lose than when she was just starting off in her 20s. And Kim says she has all the time and all of the resources to burn these people to the ground. Iconic moment. That was like my favorite moment from the teaser, so I'm glad we finally have context. Allison, what do you think is really out there? Is there another sex tape? Do you think this is false allegations?
I have no idea. Honestly, like I never saw her original tape, so I'm not sure what we're
You
potentially
didn't?
missing or what. No, should I have?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll be my homework for today, I guess. Sounds
Yeah.
weird. But what was most shocking to me and kind of like disturbing to me is he's playing this game Roblox. I don't know a ton about that, but I do know like a lot of kids play that. Like as someone who has been
Hmm.
a nanny and a babysitter, that's like very popular with children. And the fact that someone like chose that as the platform to even be teasing something like that, I just think is really nasty. So I think that was like the most appalling thing to me, less so someone trying to like leak this out there, but the fact that you're using a platform that you know a lot of children are on to do so, I think is like was the biggest shock to me and probably the biggest shock to Kim because she knows it's out there. She's built a reputation despite this tape. Again, it's bringing us back to season 1 of their original show,
Hmm.
but now it's involving her kids and her family. And she even said in the episode, like, thank God my son can't read at this point. He didn't know exactly what it was
Hmm.
and he thought it was funny. But that's kind of scary that like someone has access to just put that on your child's screen and you have no idea kind of what they might be clicking on.
Yeah, and we know Kardashians have a lot of creative control about what makes the episode. So, Gianna, why do you think they decided to put this into the premiere? Do you think it was to kind of get people interested since it was such a scandalous thing? Like, why would Kim want to bring more attention to this alleged sex tape? I'm wondering, like, how do you think they resolved this?
I mean, again, this is why I'm loving this show so much better than the old one. The fact that they even kept it in there, it's raw, it's real. They're not trying to hide anything from us. And I think, honestly, logistically, they kind of had to keep it in there because, the cameras were there filming that family barbecue, which it's
Mm-hmm.
hysterical to call this a barbecue when the food was in like grand silver, like heated things. And I think that's funny that that's what they
Casual.
call a barbecue. Of course, a Kardashian barbecue. So it really happened unexpectedly and candidly. So that's like a huge moment to happen on your very first day of filming. And like, that's what's going on. I don't think they really could have edited around it. I think it would have kind of messed everything up and they would have had to film like another day in order to cover that moment. But again, I feel like all the sisters in the family are agreeing on the fact that they want to just keep this open and candid. And I feel like another reason could be that, Kim said she's 99.9% sure that there is no other tape or like any remnants of any other tape of the original tape or anything. So I think she's putting it out there to be like, hey, if everyone wants to keep bringing this up, it's done for. And if they didn't leave it in there, there could have been somebody else's mom that saw that on their kids' Roblox and broken the story and sold it to TMZ or somebody themselves. And this would have been a
Mm-hmm.
whole thing outside of the show. So I think it was a power move and a really smart move for them to keep it in there.
And I like how Chloe said, Allison, you brought this up, like it's an omen because that was what had happened on the first season. And I kind of have a feeling that throughout this season of the Kardashians, we're going to see a lot of things that like take us back to the early seasons. There's going to be a lot of like nostalgia and like deja vu like repeating itself, and that is just kind of like iconic. It kind of just makes the show so much more like it just brings it back together. It's like such a full circle moment. It's interesting to see how upset Kim still gets because I feel like there's people trying to leak things about her and spread lies about her every day. And like I know this is so serious, but I also feel like she's should be used to it at this point. Like I don't know, it seems like she gets so affected, and like obviously this situation's different, but it still seems like she just gets so amped up about things that are just so out of her control. But we got to see the family at the barbecue. Things are picking up. This is the first day of filming. Allison, where would you be at that barbecue? Would you be sitting next to Corey? Would you be playing with the kids, jumping on the trampoline? Where is Allison Kardashian?
Oh my God, Allison Kardashian. I don't, is there a silent K in there somewhere that I don't know about?
Yeah.
I realize Kylie's pregnant right now, but I definitely would be with, a not pregnant Kylie and Corey, like when they're in Palm Springs taking shots, just like
Ooh.
pre-gaming, doing their own little thing in the corner. I've always wanted to like hang out with them. I think Corey is a great combination of kind of just like chill, even keeled. He definitely, I think, helps Chris when she's at her more anxious, stressed out points, but he's also such like a protective, like Papa Bear of the family. So I would love to hang out with Corey and maybe like the kids. I think all the kids are so funny going down the slides. So maybe hanging out with Chloe as well. I think she's great. But you mentioned it before. It is such like a recall back to their first show. After I watched this
Mm-hmm.
first episode, Hulu just restarted season one, episode one, like in a queue. And immediately talked about the sex tape and
Ooh.
how she would have to go on Tyra and discuss it. And they were prepping for a family party for Chris and Bruce's anniversary. So it was very, very similar of not only the
Uh-huh.
tape, but like getting together for a family barbecue. And I was like, oh my God, it's the same thing, just like 20 seasons later.
Yeah, I believe they call it an homage. I think that is what makes sense. I don't know. But we also watched Kim as she prepped for her SNL debut, as she was worried she wasn't funny enough to carry it through. But she did get some good advice from her pal Pete Davidson, who met her at the Met and said that the most important thing you need to know is how to read cue cards. We watched Kim get ready with her outfits. Kanye was helping her, sending her outfits, wanting to be her personal stylist. Gianna, why do you think Kim was so nervous? And I'm wondering, who do you think is the funniest sister? Because Kim was worried that she just wasn't funny enough to do SNL, and she felt like she was living out other people's dreams, like Chris's dreams, instead of her own.
Well, I think right off the bat, the funniest sister, in my opinion, is Courtney. And she's not even funny on purpose. She is always funny without even trying. We know that she's like iconic in memes. She has iconic phrases that we can all name by heart. I mean, she's hysterical. She's relatable. She's all of those things encompassed. And we even heard her say, Kim, we know that me and Chloe always tell you that you're not funny, but like you really are funny at the end of the day. So I
Hmm.
think between, her sisters being on her back with the jokes about her not being funny and all of social media kind of praising Courtney and Chloe for being the more funny sisters, while Kim is known for her iconic, crying face and being dramatic about her diamond earring falling in the ocean. That's more what she's been known for throughout the years and throughout the entire duration of keeping up with the Kardashians. Whereas Courtney and Chloe are more known for their funny moments. So I think that kind of got in her head. And, SNL is a big deal. They only have icons upon icons hosting or even making a guest appearance. So I think, any of the sisters would be freaking out in that role, regardless of how funny they are at the end of the day. But I think all those kind of factors were what was making Kim get in her own head about it.
Yeah, Kim was very anxious, and Courtney was like, I mean, Kim is related to us, so of course she's funny. I feel like Courtney's voice just never gets old. Can anyone do a better Courtney impression, or was that spot on?
That was
No, that was good.
amazing.
Okay, I'll just talk like this the rest of the live. So Courtney and Travis, we got to learn all about the ins and outs of their relationship and how they started dating. They've been friends and neighbors for years. Now, Kendall and Chloe, they always encourage Courtney to explore that with Travis. We didn't even know this, but it wasn't until the right time in Courtney's life where she finally took a year off from filming and was able to focus on herself when things finally fell into place. Courtney started to flirt with Travis through text messages to feel things out, and Travis invited her over for a movie. He was scared to make the first move, and by the time it was their second movie, Courtney was like over it. She was like, we're not going to do these movie marathons. So Courtney was the one that had to initiate the first kiss. I love seeing Courtney so happy because it's so genuine. Allison, are you surprised that Courtney was the one who started initiating it with Travis? And what did you think of Travis's first episode? It seems like, I know he was on in a couple cameos throughout the years, but how do you think he's going to fare with filming and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised in the slightest that it was Courtney making the move. Like, she is such an independent, powerful woman, and she says it like it is. She's blunt. She made things very clear with Scott. Like, it has always kind of been Courtney's way or the highway. So it's not surprising to me at all. And also the fact Travis just seems very, very respectful, not only of Courtney and her children, but also of the relationship that they had prior to this. So he probably didn't want to, read into things too far or risk ruining their friendship. He just seems like he's really respectful in that regard. So I think it worked out perfectly. He was waiting on maybe her cue and then she gave it to him. But he seemed very natural with all the filming. Like, it can't be easy to suddenly have multiple cameras following you around everywhere. But I mean, I don't know if their relationship is off camera, but everything seemed really normal and down to earth. And he didn't feel awkward at all. So I was like, he knows what he's doing. He's just being like a genuine guy. Him playing the drums with Penelope, it really just felt like we were a
Hmm.
fly on the wall of something that they probably do every day.
Yeah, I mean she's just so happy. Like we even saw them doing their tongue kissing at the family barbecue, and I love how she said that Travis is like a great role model for Penelope, Courtney's daughter, and I mean it's just nice to see love. I mean, let alone Courtney who's been like miserable for years. Like it's just nice to see an example of love in the Kardashians because a lot of the relationships have been so toxic over the years. And Courtney's just so happy, and I love to see that. But someone who isn't super thrilled about it is Scott. Now, he was bummed he wasn't invited to the family barbecue, which he heard about through Rain. So we need to take notes, guys. Rain is the gossip in the family. So he was a little upset, but Courtney felt like he had no reason to be upset because his actions don't necessarily align with his words. Now, Scott sent a DM to Courtney's ex Eunice while she was in Italy last summer with Travis. He sent like a picture of Courtney and Travis making out, and then Scott was like, "Is this chick okay?" And Eunice posted it on his Instagram story. Savage move, Eunice. Courtney said it was despicable and wants to keep her distance from Scott. but he still remains close with Chloe and Kim. So, Gianna, do you feel like Scott deserved to be invited to this barbecue? And where do you think Scott's gonna place this season? Because he doesn't seem like he's in the super in circle anymore.
Yeah, this whole Scott thing was so interesting to me, and I really had to think really hard about my emotions toward him because, on one hand, I feel bad, mainly because he truly doesn't have a family at the end of the day. You know, this whole family was once his own, and now he has nothing. He doesn't even have a strong side of his own personal blood. So, like, that just makes me feel bad in general. And then I always think about him and Courtney's past and like the good things. And it's hard because, like, we didn't experience or see the bad firsthand all the time. So it's like I have this soft spot for Scott in a way, but at the same time, we don't know the full story of everything and anything he ever did to her, but we do know that it was toxic and not good. So I can't fully support him, and I really can't support him after the DM that he sent to Eunice because he was talking
Ridiculous.
badly about Courtney. So how are you going to sit there and say, you know, I want the best for Courtney. I want her to be happy, this, that, the other, and then go ahead and say that. And then it's like he was put on complete blast. So I don't think he should have been invited to the barbecue just because if you're going to have that opinion about Courtney and Travis, why would you come to the family barbecue where these two are and where they, you know, fill the room with all their PDA? Why would you go? And why would you even want to be there in the first place? Like, I get it. Like, you're close with the other sisters, you're close with Chris, you're close with everyone still. But, like, there's just no reason for him to have been there. And I know his own children were there too, but it's like he sees his kids on his own time. Like, there's a time and a place for the time he spends.
Mhm.
So I think it's great that he's still close with Chloe and Kim, but I don't think he should be going to these family events where Travis is. I just don't think they should all be blended unless him and Travis have a talk of their own, which, you know, it could have happened. Again, we don't know exactly what's
Mhm.
been going on. It's just like reminding me of my own life because at one point I had like my dad and my stepmom and my mom and my stepdad, and at one point they were all friends and like all hanging out at the same family events, and people were like, "Isn't that weird?" And I'm like, "No, because they're on like a good basis." But if Scott's still gonna hold animosity toward Courtney and Travis for just being the new guy, then you can't hang out with them until you figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Travis and Scott will have a talk at some point throughout the season since we know they're kind of more friends now. But I'm so over Scott, like throwing the pity party. I mean, he loves to play victim. Oh, I don't have a family, I don't have a family. And then he does things like that. I mean, that is just so low that he DM'd Eunice, who he doesn't even like, Courtney's other ex. I think Scott needs to like stop feeling bad for himself and gain a backbone. And I mean, this is probably rude, but he's totally let himself go. Like, he does not look good anymore. That's the meanest thing I'll say on this live. Like, I'm not here for Scott. I think he's just so like pity party all of the time, and it's just getting so old. It's just like it's like such a pity. It pisses me off. But we also saw Scott open up to Chloe about how he might be ready for a real relationship now that Courtney has truly moved on. Once again, Team Courtney, she's like, I gave him 10 years and we broke up 7 years ago. So why is Scott still holding on to this? And hopefully it's someone in their later 20s. And he kind of admitted to the fact that his relationship with Sophia wasn't real. His relationship with Amelia wasn't real. He was dating 20-year-olds for like 5 or 6 years. Allison, do you think Scott is ready for a real relationship? Someone in their later 20s, as he says? He's 38, by the way.
I know. I even Googled that myself because I was like, there's no way that even 28 is like really close to his age. And then I saw that that was, even if he dated someone who's 28, that's still a decade apart. I think if anything, like
Yeah.
if Scott is ready for a real relationship and if he's ready to grow, like he should be dating someone in their 30s too, like someone who can push him and grow, like they can grow together and push each other to be better people. But I don't know if he's necessarily ready for that. So I guess we can just embrace the fact that he's ready to go slightly older, but not even his own age yet. Maybe, you know, a few years down the line, he'll be ready to get someone within 5 years of his age. I think hopefully Scott has done the work on himself. He said the year without cameras was really lonely, but hopefully, you know, that was a time to reflect. And maybe the whole thing with Eunice and his hatred towards Courtney and Travis will also kind of propel him forward and have him start focusing on other things. And I think he kind of also discussed that with Chloe of now that Courtney is moving on, she, you know, didn't really move on super seriously with anyone else. Now that she is moving on, we know she's engaged and did that whole Vegas wedding thing, maybe he can finally process that they're not going to just end up together in a matter of time. And maybe then he can actually be looking for a life partner as opposed to just like a fun hookup to take on a yacht.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's weird if he dates someone that's like in their late 20s. It's just weird that he was dating girls who were like 19 and 20, like girls who don't even like know themselves yet. Like he's 38. So I mean, like I don't know. I mean, age is just a number, but like at least 25 I think is appropriate for Mr. Scott Disick. And I mean, he does have a close relationship with Chloe and Kim, so I think that's what kind of keeps him in the family. And he obviously deserves to stay in the family, but Courtney has her boundaries. And I think after Scott's continuous behavior, like, no wonder she doesn't want him around all the time. I mean, also, she can't keep her hands off of Travis, so it'd probably be awkward if he was at that barbecue and they're like tongue kissing right in front of him. I don't know how he would react to that. But Chloe and Scott obviously have stayed super close, and we did get to see a little bit of Chloe's status with Tristan as she shared with us that they are really good friends, but Tristan still wants something more if he were to have it his way. Courtney, I mean, Chloe loves having him around. She loves hanging out with him, but she still has her guard up with him. But she really just likes having him present for True, especially when he's off in the basketball season. Gianna, do we think she's letting Tristan in too much, or do we just not know about their close friendship?
Oh boy. Well, to watch this from a standpoint, knowing that this was all filmed before this whole baby mama incident
Uh-huh.
with this other girl, it was
Morally?
sickening, literally sickening because like they sat there and Chloe was saying how proud she is of, him going to therapy and seeing how much he's improving. And she was even joking, like, remember that time I was pregnant and you cheated on me, like when I was 9 months pregnant? And I'm like, oh, sis, like, little do you know it's happening again. Like, I wish I could have, like, jumped through the TV in that moment. Like, let's say if it was, like, live, and just been like, no, please, just, like, let him out. But I've always thought Chloe really needed to put her foot down after the first time she got cheated on. And I think that with anybody, if you get cheated on once, he is going to do it again. It is all taking us back to the laws of classical conditioning. I'm going to give everyone a psychology lesson. If you let somebody get away with bad behavior and reward them for it, they are going to continue the action. They are not going to change. Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's a message for everyone. That's something Chloe should have learned. I'm glad she learned it by now after the God only knows how many times him having a baby with another woman, how many times that was for him cheating on her. But yeah, now I think that, we've seen articles, we've covered Chloe saying she's ready to move on. Sources are saying that she's trying to get back out there in the dating game and she's completely done with Tristan. So I'm like, fingers crossed, praying it stays that way. I don't want to see him on the next season of The Kardashians or anywhere ever again.
I mean, period. Say less. I do feel like the guys are kind of interesting though. Like, what do you think it would look like, Allison, if there was like a dinner with Travis, Scott, Rob, and Corey? Like, what if they just filmed a scene of them at dinner? Like, why do they always have to rely on like the girls? Like, obviously the Kardashians run this show, but like, what do you think a guy's dinner would look like? And maybe throw Food God in there as well.
Oh God, we have to bring food god into it. I mean, I think it would either be it would be two opposite things. Broing it out. We all deal with these women. What a common experience. I get you, you get me. Or it would just be absolute chaos. And I think the chaos would come from if we have like a Travis and a Scott, or like, if Chloe dates someone else, having Tristan come. It's going to come down to if there's people who have dated the same woman. But if they've all dated, a Kardashian woman, I think it'd be fine. Corey's going to be over there with his like tequila on the rocks, just like doing his own little
Mm.
thing, happy with Chris. But I think it could be really, really interesting. I want to know if Scott is going to be getting an invite to the wedding, because I think that could be
I
interesting to
don't think
watch him go
so.
through that. But yeah.
Because he didn't get invited to the proposal, the engagement party, which we saw on the teaser. And I'm just like, no wonder, like, Scott, no wonder you weren't invited. But I mean, that's a storyline that will play out throughout the season. I know I'm giving Scott a hard time, but I'm open to warming up to him. But the first episode just got me a little heated. Now, Kendall said she had COVID, so she missed some family gatherings during the first episode, but she talked right to the camera. She promised fans that she is going to be here all season long. And Kylie is pregnant with her second child, but keeping the gender of the baby a secret just for her and Travis since her life is so public. I love Kylie. She's just so sweet. But Gianna, I want to know with Kendall, what do you think we can expect from her this season? She says she's going to be there. Do we believe her? Is she going to follow through and film a lot this season?
I do believe her honestly, and I feel like when they were filming, she really had such a big year, not only for her modeling career, but for her brand. She started 818 Tequila, that's now a thing. So, as we know, this show is going to dive more into the girls' businesses, and I want to see how that gets started because I feel like everyone paints Kendall as this girl that's just skinny and she's just a model and like doesn't bring much to the table, but she is a businesswoman now, and I want to see the behind the scenes of that. I want to see more from her. We're going to get into the trailer in a little bit in this live, but we saw her actually fighting with Scott. So that's going to be
Uh-huh.
really interesting to see as well, and her getting up and storming off. But I really want to see, that business side of her because we know that she's funny, she's beautiful, she's a great model, whatever. But like, let's see how she puts in that work. I really am looking forward to that.
I want to see her and Kylie hang out because I love the Courtney, Chloe, Kim dynamic because they're like the older sisters. I want to see Kendall and Kylie go out to lunch and do whatever they do and just see their dynamic because I love when they fight and I also love when they make up. Allison, what do you think we're going to see from Kylie this season? She is maybe 6 or 7 months pregnant. Do we think we'll, see her give birth possibly on the season? How much do you think she's going to let us into her lives?
I mean, maybe we'll see it, but I think she's really trying to value as much privacy as, she can, even within having cameras there, as we saw with her wanting to keep, the gender of her baby a secret. She didn't even really like tell cameras at that point. So I think she's going to try her best to like get that balance in between of sharing her life on there but not sharing too much. I thought it was interesting that Travis wasn't at the family barbecue, but maybe he was working. So I would love to see like their dynamic with Stormy behind closed doors, and then maybe when they have their son. I would love to see like their relationship when it comes to co-parenting, because we're seeing so much from Chloe and Tristan, and obviously they're prioritizing True so much. So I want to see like behind closed doors of Kylie and Travis and Stormy and their new son.
Yeah, I know. Like, let us into your house, Kylie, the new one that is in the city, and give us a home tour. Okay, we would love to see it. Well, the episode was really good. I think we're all really invested. I guess Hulu is going to be releasing one episode a week every single Wednesday night slash Thursday, depending on what time zone you're in. So we're invested. We're going to be watching the whole season and covering it over here at Shared News. We did get to see an exclusive look at the trailer at the end of the episode. And we saw some pretty crazy moments. Kim and Pete, their relationship's going to be a spectacle. Kim and Kanye, Courtney, Scott, Chloe, Tristan, Kylie, literally everyone, Mama Chris, Gianna, Allison. I want to know what you're most looking forward to seeing this season, and then we will wrap things up.
Ooh, I mean, I think I could speak for a lot of people when I say I am the most excited to finally get the whole story of Kim and Pete Davidson. We've been waiting for this for forever, ever since news outlets first said that these two were dating, because everyone was like, out of all people, Pete Davidson, like who, what, when, where, why, how did that even happen? And we got a little teaser. We know that things happen on SNL and whatever, but I want the full story. I want the full details. I want to know who asked who on a date. I want to know where they went, what they did. I need to know everything. So I am so excited to finally get the answers that I have been wondering for months now.
I understand.
I have two things that I want to see. One, I want to see when the news breaks about Tristan's baby mama, because I feel like it could be
Ooh.
filmed very similarly to when we found out about the whole Jordan and Tristan situation, where you can see all of them on their phones, who figured out when, they're all on
Uh-huh.
group calls. Like, I want to see that family dynamic. as we've heard, no one goes against the family, so they really just like come to each other's defense. And I also just want to see more of Kris Jenner's like day-to-day life, her being like, I'm up every day at 4. Who's not answering their phone at 7 as she's like storming on the treadmill? I'm like, I want to see what goes behind like Kris Jenner's schedule, because that is fascinating to me, and I can only hope to emulate her like boss woman vibes.
Absolutely. You love Kris Jenner, and I get it. I love her too. I loved her naming every single business. She's like, did I miss one? It's like, I think they have more businesses than grandkids, and that is saying something. I mean, I guess since I have the most opinions about it, I'm most interested in the Courtney Travis Scott dynamic. It's going to be a roller coaster of a ride, and I'm invested in that journey. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. And Courtney's going to be getting engaged, which is so exciting because this is her first engagement. She is 40 years old. She's never been engaged. She's never been married. No matter how long she was with Scott, she never wanted to marry him. So it's going to be epic to see a Courtney proposal and see how that all goes down. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know your favorite moments of the Kardashians premiere in the comments down below, and what you guys are looking forward to seeing the rest of the season, because that is everything we have for you guys today. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you are updated. Ring the bell so you guys get notifications whenever we go live or give updates on Kardashians and any reality TV pop culture news. As always, I am your host, Zachary Reality, joined by Gianna Gravelisi and Allison Van Dam. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow. Come say hello. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.